What is it? Afternoon, morning. Let me look at this thing. Oh, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, y'all. Just want to get on here. I was sitting up here. I was just listening to Victoria Ramsey and William McDowell. Listening to, trying to, get my spirits lifted up because I was just thinking about yesterday. Went to a church that I haven't been to in a long time ago. Church I used to love going to, and just this experience that I had as I looked around and I thought about things, and just reflecting, on the brokenness that's in me, in our people, and the signs that was there. Okay, like I said, beautiful church, powerful foundation that was laid by the leader that was there. He's not here no more. Just for right now, I'm not going to mention the name of the church or the leader, but just want to mention or talk about some of the signs that I seen there. Because we ended up having church down in the basement because I think they was trying to get something right about the heat. Anyway, as I stood down there, and first thing I seen was a young boy serving at the door. And when they taking and giving prayer or doing certain things, you had to wait till they open up the door and let you in. So I began to look around, and as I began to look around, the thing that was making everything generate, giving power to everything, and the heat that was in that area, it had cords that was running down the basement that I noticed, and the cords was red, white, and blue. I believe that the white cord was in the middle, and the blue and the red cord was on the outside, and that just struck me. And the leader that isn't here anymore, he had on a blue tie, and that spoke to me. So I'm just just thinking about different things. But when I went in there, finally ended up getting in there, I got to looking around, and as I looked around, it may be because the young boy had left, so I guess he must have went up there to the place where they had the young people at, and as I was looking around in the church, and I was just thinking, about all the labor and stuff that this man had put in, and I got to reflecting on Ecclesiastes, what Solomon says, all vanity and chasing after the wind. Because mostly everybody that was there, besides maybe two people, was in their 20s. And everybody else was in their 40s on up. And I went to looking around, and I was like, okay, this whole generation right here. And in this generation, I'm not seeing anyone 20 and down here. And I got to reflecting on that. And I got to reflect on how even the older people, that's in my age and up, was the ones that were serving and doing all the rest of that. And I was like, wow. The other generation is supposed to be here with them. They're supposed to be learning. They're supposed to be getting this, ain't here. So if all these teachers that's here are gone, who's going to guide them? And I know that God can do it, but if the people ain't there to learn from the people that know, and this is where I get mad at a lot of men and women of God when they go to talk about master prophet and all this, that, and all that. I get upset with it because you can never master the prophetic. You could never master the Bible. And someone that opened my eyes up there, that was Bishop Gilbert G. Patterson. He said, if I was to live 3 lifetimes and be here, I'd still be learning from that Bible. There's so much in that. And I've learned a long time ago that one verse can reveal 3 to 24 revelations in it and even more. So I understand that. And I understand that there's so many realms and dimensions that a lot of us will never be able to walk in, here in this life. And where you get the revelation from that, if you pay attention to what Jesus is saying in Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. Matter of fact, because I don't want to mess this up and I need to get back to what I was doing. So let me just do this. And it's important that we have people that are teachers and leaders. But at the same time, the men and women of God, they had to be real teachers. Not someone that's trying to be a master of something. You know what I mean? Because you'll never be able to master the things that God masters. God is the only master of all this. And that word and that title is another thing that's destroying the church. Okay? Because you can never, ever master the prophetic. You can get where you someone that know how to operate in it. It's men and women, God, that know how to, but you can never master it. That's saying that you truly are God, or you know what I mean? Man fell from that state. They fell from that state. When God originally blew that initial ruach in man, he had at that particular time a function to where he was truly connected to God, but that is broken. So that leads us to this. Again, Matthew chapter 5, verse 19, it says, whosoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments and shall teach men so, he should be called least, pay attention to this, least in the kingdom of heaven. And I want you just to stop and think about this. How can you be called least in the kingdom of heaven? That's letting you know there's other parts that exist that's connected to heaven, that's outside of heaven. And it's explained by the garden. When they speak about Adam and Eve in the garden was connected to heaven, but it wasn't inside of heaven. You can't be in heaven with God and be considered to be the least. And if you go to Revelation, I don't have time to go into it. If you go to Revelations chapter 21 and 22, it explains it, y'all. You have to take your time and read this. How can you be considered least in the kingdom of heaven? And that's what brings me to this message too. Now pay attention to this right, least in the kingdom of heaven. Then it goes on to say, but whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. The same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. In the kingdom of heaven. In key. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. In the kingdom of in. Okay, now let me go and get off into it. Anyway, you know what I mean? If we don't, and I mean, starting like yesterday, if we don't truly come together like all these other cultures are coming together, because there's only one race, and I stress that. That's the human race. But if we don't come together like all these other cultures, our children are going to get engulfed by what's to come. Plain and simple. Now, I'm going to do this so I can get up off of here. This is what's going on with me today. Me. Talking about me. Okay. It had been coming to me for a few days before you had been coming to me a few days before about Seattle. I said I didn't know why I didn't know why this was coming to me. I really don't watch football anymore like I used to. I used to love football, crazy about it. Okay, but I don't watch it like I used to anymore. I might have watched one full game in the last 17 years. Since I've been saved. Okay, anyway. Then only on 2/7/2026 as I prayed. Now pay attention. On 2/7/2026 as I prayed. Now a few days before then, it was coming to me about Seattle. Okay. And I was like, I don't really watch football, but I went to go pray on 2/7/2026. As I prayed for the first time, pay attention, for the first time this year, over an hour. As a matter of fact, 1 hour, 37 minutes I prayed. Exactly. Started off my prayer at 11:48. I started off my prayer at 11:48. It ended at 1:25 exactly. I know y'all are saying he's timing his prayer, okay? No. I'm not. I just decided last year to try to see God's kingdom presence more. So I said I would start my prayers off 12 minutes 2. 12 minutes 12, 12 minutes 3, so forth, so on. 12 minutes 2. Anyway, it ended at 1:25. You get the number 137 from 11:48 time started and 1:25 time ended. Ishmael died at 137 years old, the child of the flesh, and I believe Father Yahweh is speaking to us about the flesh in an even bigger way now. That men and women are turning away from him more and turning to fleshly things. Now there is 3 or 4 warnings in this. Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl 29-13. Now, when I was praying, I'm not going to go and get what I wrote down after I came out of the prayer. It was a lot. And the way that stuff had came to me, I couldn't remember exactly the way. And as it was coming back to me, it was coming back to me in bits and pieces. So I didn't write it down in the order that it came to me. So I'm not going to go back and read what I wrote down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this thing with Seattle because it's real important. Now, remember, I just got to reading to y'all about Matthew chapter 5, verse 19, and got to talk about kingdom. We know that the number 12 is related to kingdom, government, and so forth. So 12 disciples, 12 disciples, 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 princes. We know that that's linked to government and to God and to the kingdom. We know the number 12 is linked to that. Now, it's real important. Now, help me out here, Lord. Help me out here, please. Shabakoria Shandi. Righteous blood of the Lamb. Not going to win this one today, Satan. So we know the 12 is linked to that. So, like I said, and I did a thing last year from out of Mark chapter 11. I think it was verse 10 that had to do with the 12. And I need to start pulling up these videos so y'all can see how God works through us, through his word and through numbers. And how these verses and these numbers can holler and really speak to us and reveal things to us. So just, y'all, there's the prayer real. Just please pray for me. So anyway, you got these signs here in the Super Bowl. Now, here it is. I pray exactly for 1 hour, 37 minutes. You turn 137 around, you get my birthday. My birthday is July 31st. So that kind of spoke to me, okay, God definitely speaking to me directly. And while I was praying, I kept on seeing this blackness on my right side and my left side. It was like black matter. And I've seen this black matter in churches that I have went into in front of the altars. But this black matter was twirling on both sides of me, on each side, and I could see a blue or white cloud ahead of me. Because I was praying for God's glory. I was taking it, and sometimes I pray with a brown towel. Sometimes I pray with the blue one. When I pray with the blue, I'm asking for God's glory. Praying with the brown one, I'm asking that His power of hands touch me and mold me. Just symbolic. You know what I mean? So ain't nobody got to start. It's me. Okay? And, I just had the blue one all on my head, and I was just praying and pushing. This time I'm praying, really pushing. And I kept on seeing this darkness, black matter like twirling on right side of me, on the left side of me, and up ahead. I can see this glory, because that's blue reflects God's glory. When you see the blue and white, spirit and the glory of God. So I could see it ahead of me, but I wasn't able to reach it. Now, mind you, I had been, when I come up on my prayer, I had been 1 hour, 37 minutes exactly. 137 links to Ishmael, okay? Now, it's a sign to me, because you turn it around, that's my birthday. That's the day I was born on. You do it like it was 137. You go and do your research, you get Ishmael. But not only that, they had this thing with the Seattle Seahawks that I had took and I had looked up, because they kept on talking about the 12. So let me do this the right way, because I took and I did it yesterday. Okay. What does it mean when Seattle Seahawks talk about the 12? Okay, they've been doing it since 1984. The team signifies that fans are as the 12th man extra player complimenting the 11 on the field. Now pay attention to complimenting the 11 on the field. Now here it is. When you take and you break down 137, you get 11. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 7 is 11. 11 men on the field. But they talking about the 12. Pay attention to this. Okay? Now I started my prayer off at 11:48. Because I got all my clocks set up, me to start praying 12 minutes too. Okay? 11:48. Now, if you break the 4 and 8 down to 48 minutes, break that down, you get 12. Pay attention to this. 4 and 8 is 12. We're talking about the 40, 48, and the 84 too. And the videos were around my time. But anyway, 4 and 8 breaks down to 12. I say, okay, well, what about the 11? So let's go back. Let's start with breaking down 11. She got 11. 11:48. 137 breaks down to 11. So you get a sign in that. Okay? Got a sign in that. Got a sign in the 40. Both parts of the time that I started that prayer is linked to that number 137. Both parts of it. Why is both parts of it linked to the 137? Because you get the 137 from the 11:48 and the 125. Okay? In the 11:48, the 137 breaks down to 11. That's the first part of it. That's the first part of the time that I started off the prayer. Okay, so the end of the prayer reflects the hour. Okay, the end of the prayer reflects the hour. Okay, now where's the 12 minutes coming from? Okay, here we go right here. 11:48, and I didn't know this. 11:48. 11 breaks down to 2. The 48 breaks down to 12. Okay? You got 12 right there. The 12 breaks down to 3. So here it is. You got the 2 and the 3. Isaac. I'm going to get to it. Trust me. I'm gonna get, as long as he give me strength, I'm going to keep on pushing until I can get y'all this. Okay? 23. Isaac. 23 breaks down to 5. Now watch this. 23 breaks down to 5, right? Now, the time that the prayer ended was 1:25. 25 breaks down to 7. So here it is. Here it is. We taking and we're doing it. We're going with the minutes we did, like we did the minute on 48. So here it is. We got 23 that breaks down to 5. That's the final number, right? That's the final number. So here it is. We got that. Now we starting with the minute again. The minute 25 breaks down to 7. So here it is. We got 5 and 7. Okay? That breaks down to 12. They'll go to 12, and 12 breaks down to 3. But we're going to back up. And we're going to go back to the 5, and the 25 breaks down to 7. So you got 57, but if you go backwards, you got 75. God called Abram at 75. But here it is. We got to back up, and we got to finish the process. So here it is. We did the minutes just like we started with the 48. And when we took and did 1148, we broke everything down. It ended at 23, breaking down to 5. So that 1148 breaks down to 5. And then the 25, when you take and do the 25 minutes, that breaks down to 7. So you get 57, turn around and get 75. Abram was called at 75 years old. Now we're going to finish the whole process, okay? Now we're going to take and do the whole and do it again. The 25 breaks down to 7. And then you got the 1 o'clock, right? 1 added on to 7, that's 8. Beginning. Please pay attention to this. Beginning. Okay, this is the beginning. The beginning of what? A fleshly thing. Because when you go from 1148 to 125, you get the number 137. Hagar and Sarah came together and did this, and the idea was Sarah that she was going to take and do what she did. This was the beginning of something that they did, not God. A fleshly thing. Okay, now here it is. When we take and we do that, we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention. Here it is. We got the 8, which we reflect. You know, we get that when we go from 1148 to the 125. The 125 breaks down to 8. Now, here it is. You got on one side. You got on one side of here. You got Isaac. From the 1148, starting off with 12 minutes to government. Okay? Government. God's kingdom. Okay? Then when you get down to the end of it, you got where man and woman is trying to do their thing, because you go from a God thing to a man thing, because at the end of that you get the 137, which reflects Ishmael. And then when you take and you break down the 125 from doing the whole thing, you'll get the number 8. And that's the beginning of what? Of the flush thing, because it ended at the 137. The 137 only shows up at the end of the prayer 125. So it's a flushy thing that's going on right now. When you take and you add the 8 and 5 together, you get 13. Now pay attention to this. The losing team. The losing team had 13. When I prayed Saturday, it came to me, Lord, please, because I don't want to go grab that book and do this one. It